Most people think the agentic AI interviews are extremely difficult because it involves some of the complex terms such as RAG, multi agent workflow, the automation. It involves planning, memory. It sounds like a lot. But here's the fact, guys: agentic AI interviews are only hard when you don't know the patterns. So once you understand a handful of patterns, what companies are testing for, it actually becomes simple. Your confidence are going to boost up, and it becomes very, very simple and fun to attend the interviews for you. Now let's talk about the real reason as why the interviews feel actually hard. The first thing, the agentic AI is completely new. The line graph is new. The tool calling and even planning, memory, orchestration, all these are new concepts. So the moment the interviews ask you about, tell me about, let's say, multi agent collaboration, tell me about the retrieval workflow, or talk to me about tool routing, planning nodes, or agent execution loops, that's where your brain starts telling you that I don't know enough. That here's the secret: the interviewers, they don't expect deep expertise, they expect clarity. Okay, they expect the clarity, not perfection. Now the real question that comes to our mind is, if that's the case, then what does interviewers actually test? Now, one of the key thing that they would actually test over here is, it's not the syntax. The companies, they don't test your coding tricks, they don't test your memorization. All they would be interested is the five key things which you have to always remember. Do you understand what an agent is? Can you break down a task into steps? Then, do you know when to use tools and when to use LLMs? Can you describe a simple workflow? And more importantly, do you understand RAG and how it can be integrated with memory and multi step agentic workflow? Then, once that is done, just give a simple example. Like they might ask, as let's say, how do you automate a customer support workflow which will be using the agentic AI system? So, all you need to answer over here is, agent will read the request, planner will go ahead and plan into various steps. Once that is done, the retrieval will fetch the relevant knowledge from the knowledge database that you have set up. The tools will execute the various action that is intended to complete the task. And more importantly, the memory will store the context and the output will flow back to the end user. That's it. There's no complicated diagram. There's no 30-minute explanation that is required if you're able to convey the use case in a structured and a clear manner. Now, what exactly is the one that makes the interviews easy? So, what exactly are the patterns that you need to understand? See, every agentic AI question that you would come across in the interview would fit to one of these patterns that I'm going to show you right now. The first common pattern is understand, plan, retrieve, act. So the agents will understand the given task, plan down into subtask, and finally, while performing the task, they might retrieve the data, and finally, it will make use of tools and the APIs to perform the action. So this is one common pattern. And the second most common pattern, whenever you are implementing in any agentic AI system, is tool selection, execution, validation. This is another pattern that you would use it in your implementation. And the third pattern over here is single agent, multi agent, orchestrator. So you will implement the single agent and you will add multiple such single agents and make up and create a multi agent system, and you will orchestrate such multi agent system with the required workflow or a file that you're working on. And the fourth common pattern is, from RAG, you will go ahead and maybe From simple RAG, you will go ahead and increase the complexity to validated RAG to even tool driven RAG. So these are the common patterns that are that you actually have to be aware of whenever you are going for these interviews. Now, when you answer the question using these patterns instead of some random details about what was your customer name, what is the use case that you're working on, if you just shrink and explain it in a simple manner using this pattern, you sound more like a senior engineer, even if you're a beginner or even if you have just completed your course. That's a one small hack that you can follow in your interview preparation. And the next important question over here is, okay, why this is doable for you. See, I'll be very honest with you. You don't need, let's say, 2 years of experience for this agentic AI. The field itself is very new. You don't need the deep machine learning knowledge to implement these agentic AI system. And you don't need to memorize the 100 different workflows. So, what you need right now is you need clarity, you need structure, and more importantly, implementation that is real practice. So, once you get that, and once you just explain all these concepts with the help of the pattern that I've just described, the agentic AI interviews will become predictable for you. You can actually predict what kind of questions that you would get as and when you are explaining itself by looking at the interviewer. So that's the maturity that you would reach once you start thinking in this manner. Now, if this gave you a clarity, then I would invite you for my next Agentic AI Enterprise Mastery Bootcamp, which is where we actually build all these systems end to end, and you'll be building with me. So it involves multi agent workflows, line graph planner, enterprise RAG, tool calling, memory, orchestration, deployment. It's a complete structured mastery. If you're interested, check the link in description. If you want to know more about how my teaching would be, do check out the free demo class that's also provided over there in the link in the description. More importantly, I wish you all the very best in 2026 for your agentic AI roles. I'll see you next time. Subscribe to our channel if you're new to us.